Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. This is Regina Clark and I'm coming to you from Colorado Springs. I'm in my backyard. I'm kind of between in and out because today I'm talking about balance. So I'm talking about both the outside and the sunshine and the inside and the shadow or the shade. And so both I believe are important and necessary in life. And a definition of balance is one definition is an equal distribution of weight to keep someone or something in an upright position. So that's balance, and that's a beautiful thing. I remember in high school, I had a inner ear equilibrium thing, and I remember I was trying to play basketball. We had a game, and I just had this inner ear thing, and I couldn't. I everything was kittywampus, and it was hard to find my balance. And so I love that we can have both the outside. It's a little windy out there. Another reason why I chose. I'm kind of in this in between space. Not only that, but then also my topic. And so I was thinking about the other definition of balance that I think is so important is an equal, it talks about equal proportions of different elements. And that's the one I really was talking about, which would be the example of like body, soul, and spirit, equally distributed. Or I heard one time over 10 years ago, I was encouraged to have 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours of rest. So again, it's more of an equal distribution in that way, that we don't work too hard, that we're not just playing all the time, and then I'm not sleeping all day. And so we're trying to find a balance between those aspects of our life. We also, of course, know there's the mental, the physical, and the emotional would be another way to look at it. And so these are things that I think it's really important that I've been thinking about in my own life, is how to find balance for Regina. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, is how to find balance for you. It depends on who you are. Where do you naturally gravitate? Are you someone who has a really large inner world and a small outer world? And so your tendency is going to be to spend a lot of time alone, a lot of time maybe in the office, a lot of time studying, a lot of time reading, a lot of time in meditation and prayer. And I'm not saying there's a thing wrong with that. And your outer world is small. But sometimes when we have a tendency, we can get too much into that, and we can forget that there's a world out there, that there's people that maybe we want to connect to, or something we can learn. And so again, you do what's right for you, but you want to find your own unique balance. And then what about those who have a smaller inner world and a large outer world? Naturally, these are, some people would call them introverts and extroverts. We're not using that language today, but that is an idea of people who spend a lot of time doing, going, connecting. And so again, it may be your natural pull, and that's wonderful. It's what makes you uniquely you, and we need both in the world. But then we have to also pay attention, is that getting to where it's too much? And for me, it doesn't have the balance that it needs, and I need to come back to center and to find that more equally proportioned place that's going to help me sustain and maintain and take care of myself, so that I can go out and connect with the rest of the world. And then I think there's a third category of people who are more naturally balanced, in that they have pretty equal their inner world and their outer world. And I think that's kind of where I fall, or at least I'm working on some stuff. I'm learning some information, and that's what I'm finding out, is that, and it makes sense to me, because I really, really love people. I love connecting. I love getting together. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I'm not going to be reaching out to someone in some way to say hey, or to connect. But also, equally important, which is why I do my angel book workshops and I do my inner work and I go to these things, or I do have my own private practices, because my inner world is also extremely important to me. And so it's continuing to watch that for myself, so that again, it's an equal distribution of sorts for me. And I was thinking about this in nature. There's many examples that we can use from different areas of life, but I was thinking about there's the ecosystem where things need to be balanced. There's plants, the plant kingdom, and there's man, and then there's animals. And again, these things need to be in some type of balance. I think of some of the things have the opposites. I think of opposites that also can come in when you're trying to look for a middle road. But I think of there's dawn and there's dusk and there's summer and there's winter. And there is, I actually wrote a few of these down. There's the heart and the mind, there's the physical and the mental. And so just keeping things in mind, so that if there's an area that you feel like is getting a little out of balance, then maybe it's time to give that some thought and take the necessary action so that you can be your best. I love that the fountain flows year round, but I love the green that comes in the summer and how that makes me feel, and being inside and outside. So I've spent a lot of time in my new office and my vision wall, and I still spend time in there, but I'm gravitating this time of year to doing my morning practices and things outside. And again, weather dependent, we know that sometimes things come, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a personality that can go hard, let's just say, on a topic or on an area, and get really excited about a piece of information. And so I think that the extremes. So I think of in Colorado, it was just a month ago. It was May 20th, so it's not even been a month that we had a huge snowstorm. And then this week, the last couple of days, we've been in the mid to high 90s, and it is extreme. And so somewhere in between is the happy place, where there's a light breeze, where you can go into the shade, where it's a little warm, or you can stand in the sun, and then you can come back to the shade. And so again, it's alternating. And so this is the sunshine, and it's beautiful and lovely, and then back into the shade. So I hope that you will think a little bit about your own life and what this means to you. And maybe there's an area that you need to cut back on a little bit, and then maybe you need to amp up another area. But again, it's about you and your balance. And so you're the only one that's going to know that. So I am headed to San Diego today with my husband. We're going for a training, learning more information. I'm sure I'll be telling you more about that, but I'll be leaving here this afternoon in just a couple of hours. And I look forward to the information. I look forward to being in a different place, having new experiences, and what I get to learn and discover and share with you when I come back. So until next week, have an amazing time. Take care of your beautiful self and enjoy the balance.